All right, to the Campeones Cup, Club America, the two-time reigning champions of Liga MX, taking on the Columbus Crew, the reigning MLS Cup champs. Packed house here for this one, too, over 20,000 in attendance. Pick it up in the second half. Victor Davila, onside, one-on-one, and the Chilean makes it 1-0 Club
How
America.
could it be onside? Come on! Oh, he's in his own half. What is going on here with the defending for Columbus? You cannot all pressure the ball. Oh, weak side, Davila. That's what he was brought here to do. Finishes it.
So America up 1-0. The lead wouldn't last long, though, 10 minutes later. Christian Ramirez there with the first touch. Amundsen there finds the back of the net to make it 1-1.
Chicotazo! Look at that. Chicote back door, not defending properly. Good anticipation right here. It's a very well taken goal, and we're even.
We're even, and we're going to penalties. It was 4-4 in the shootout, now into sudden death. And the man who scored the goal takes a penalty off the crossbar. Malagon off his line, but they didn't call it.
Well, there's a reason they didn't call it. They say he didn't interfere in the player. It's the whole thing and the rules. Read the rules! Read the rules!
Nestor Araujo did not exactly bury that. Patrick Schulte getting more than a touch, but Club America wins 5-4 on penalties after the game finished 1-1 in regulation. So the champions of Mexico, Club America, are your Campeones Cup winners. I thought it was a pretty evenly matched game, but you think America a fair winner on the night?
Fair is tough to say when you win on penalty kicks in such an evenly matched game. Like, if this game ends with America winning 1-0, I would have said, oh, that was an unlucky one for Columbus. And if Columbus wins 1-0, I would have said, oh, that was a unlucky one, for Club America. It was that well played. It was very highly contested, and I really enjoyed it. Listen, this is one of these games where I thought both Jardine and Wilfred Nancy was a chess match, if you will, a tactical chess match. It almost felt like they knew each other very well and studied each other and respected each other a little too much. But as the game went on, there was some very good football played on both sides. And the fact that it goes to penalty kicks shows you how evenly contested this game was and how good both teams are. I would say I still put America just above Columbus. You have to have that killer instinct, especially at home. If this game was played in Mexico City, things could have been a little bit different. I don't know, maybe not, because they don't play in Azteca right now. But regardless, it was a very good game, very evenly matched game.
Malagon, your man of the match?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I know that was...
Which says a lot about how the game went.
It does and it doesn't.
Would you agree with this?
It does and it doesn't.
I thought America played better. I thought Columbus was more dangerous.
Yeah, I thought Columbus had the better of the chances. And Malagon certainly... I think of Mexican players today and how instrumental they are to their team. And I can think of no better representation of that than Luis Angel Malagon. He's the most important player on Club America, and they have a plethora of attacking talent. It's funny because you look at the resurgence of Malagon. Let's take this before I talk about the national team. Leagues Cup, he felt very culpable. He felt very at fault for the way that America were bounced from Leagues Cup. He misses a penalty kick against Zach Steffen. His team goes out. It's a lot of controversy, very polemic. People love to see America fail. And he
especially against MLS competition.
And especially against MLS competition. He takes it on the chin, and he's instrumental here. You look at the national team. He plays against Cameroon in San Diego at Snapdragon, has a very bad air, and then you don't think he's going to get his chance again. And then Memo Ochoa gets injured. And the next two games that he plays are against Honduras. It's a 2-0 win.
He's a star of that game.
Big star of that game. Big performance in penalty kicks. And then I should say the 0-0 tie versus Canada, where he had a massive save against Kyle Lair and keep that 0-0. He's very much been a great story for Mexican football in what is, just a sea of horrid play. So I thought they were deserving. I thought Malagon was a deserving victor and MVP of this game. And while Memo Ochoa is in Memo Ochoa is in Portugal, having a resurgence of his career, Malagon is here and kind of saying, hey, hold on a second. I'm 27 years old. I'll be 29. I'm the present right now. I'm going to be your future. And he's reminding everybody of that.
So America right now is obviously not at their best. But beyond that, I feel like they're kind of a team still being put together, right? Diego Valdez still not 100% back into his role. Victor Davila, who they spent, $8-9 million on, which may not be a lot of money to some people, but in Mexican soccer, that's a lot. He didn't start this game, comes off the bench
player,
and scores,
it's a lot of money.
Maybe he might have a bigger role. And they've got Espinosa starting, who's, not a kid,
He's
but
been a pleasant. 20-year-old Drago Espinosa has been a pleasant surprise.
He's a kid by Mexican standards, right? 20 years old in any other league is not a kid, but he's still wearing the 3 numbers on his back at 20.
And he's only really playing. Well, he was before this game only really playing because in Mexico they have an underage player, rule where they have to get these players minutes. And it's so ridiculous in Mexico that this underage player rule isn't you got to get an underage player of under 17 years old.
It's under 23.
It's under 23.
Right.
It's under 23. So he proves because he's playing in that maybe he's got the chops, and they don't trust Kevin Alvarez right now, who they spend a lot of money for. So they play the 20-year-old Drago, Espinosa, and he does very well. He does very well in a final, and he helps America win. So listen, America's still very much a work in progress. I kind of expected that with no preseason for them, back-to-back championships, no preseason, a lot of international players. They've got over 11 players that go on international fixtures from senior teams, the majority, to youth teams. So I understand them still being a work in process. But you look at the 60th minute when they were 6-0, Jardine turns around and he goes, all right, Diego Valdez, Rodrigo Aguirre, and Avila, you're coming into the game. Who else in Mexican football right now can say they have the luxury of pulling the trigger like that?
Yeah. Rayados and Tigres for a while had benches like that, but not anymore, probably.
Not like that.
Not in the attack, not in terms of
like
difference makers. In attack. No, it's for sure. So if we go big picture then on America, as we look at some of the achievements here under Jardine, the manager, how important do you think this trophy is? One, kind of to the club, like what does it mean to Club America in the terms of all of the trophies that they won, their place in CONCACAF? But then beyond that, what does it mean towards righting the ship? Because it feels like there's a little bit, obviously they had a disappointing game on the weekend against Necaxa, but I think that's down to rotations, probably maybe more focused on this game.
Which they did not lose.
They did not lose. From home. Right. But, I think that's a game you would think they would expect to win in league play. But you're rotating players, it finishes 1-1. Couple victories before that. Big game against Pumas coming up on the weekend. It feels like America, while they are a work in progress, could be about to pop. Do you feel that way?
I do. And I thought Jardine was arrogant in the way he went about the Columbus Crew game because it almost felt like he had a planned substitution at the 60th mark for these 3 players, looking ahead to give some of his players like Sendejas and
You
Henry
think
Martin
he had an eye on Pumas?
On Pumas, and it worked out for him.
Wow.
And it worked out for him. And listen, when you talk about this crisis that Club America is in their league play, and just in general, Santiago Baños, the president of America, put it best. There was only 2 possible outcomes in this game. It was either we win it and the press and everybody else would say, wow, that cup doesn't matter, or we lose it and they're killing us.
Right.
And that's exactly what had happened. They win it, and you're going to have a large sector of people who are going to say it doesn't matter. Well, ask Miguel Herrera when he lost it against Atlanta United, Frank de Boer's Atlanta United, if it mattered. It matters. You don't want to be the club to lose any competition, especially when there's a trophy on the line against an MLS club if you're a Liga MX club. That's the mentality. They won it. They did their part. Now they're concentrating on Pumas, and what I have to assume they feel very good about.
One more thing here, because it was a good crowd. Wasn't exact same size as they had in Los Angeles, a little bit smaller, but that's just down to the capacity of lower.com field. Are you at all sensing that there's some overkill here with this MLS First League?
Saw a lot of Columbus fans there.
You did?
A lot of yellow.
I saw a lot of empty seats is what I saw for a game that announced that it was at full capacity. But I mean, we have Leagues Cup, we have CONCACAF Champions, we have Campeones Cup, we have MLS All-Star, MLS versus Liga MX. And this is kind of at the end of all of that. Are you not tired of it? I get like last night's game should have felt for me more important than it did. And as an admitted America fan, it just didn't. It just felt like another version of Leagues Cup.
I felt
Champions League.
I felt watching this.
Right. Yeah. In the email they said there's bragging rights on the line. I
felt watching this. That I didn't want to watch it. I'm on East Coast time now, and I didn't want to watch it. There was better things to do with my time, but I'm paid, and I knew I would have to talk about this on Ahora Nunca and here in Football America, so I'm watching this game. But the whole time I'm thinking, I am the Open Cup, because of what the Open Cup means. So that initially, my instincts are telling me I don't think this game means anything. Though I know because of the situation for Club America, and I'll talk about Club America from Monday to Friday, I need to watch it. I wouldn't have watched it if not.
Yeah. So Club America then on penalties in Columbus lift the Campeones Cup here in 2024.